What is up, fellas? We are back for another UFC predictions video. This time for UFC Fight Night Macau, Yan versus Figueiredo. Guys, we have a pretty sick card this weekend. I know it might sound crazy to say, but I was actually looking forward more so to this card than last week's pay-per-view, to be honest. Outside of Oliveira Chandler, I really did not care about last weekend's pay-per-view that much. I honestly like this card better, to be honest. Way more compelling main event is what I will say for sure. But yeah, we'll jump right in. If you're new, subscribe. Please do it. It's free. Why not? Thanks. Let's jump right in, fellas. Kicking us off in the lightweight division, Mahashate versus Nicholas Mata. Guys, I'm going with Mahashate here. Just think Mahashate is a little bit better of a technical striker than Nicholas Mata. Both of these guys are pretty dangerous. Both of these guys have good knockout power. Nicholas Mata, for me, though, he's kind of an early round knockout guy, or he's kind of just not winning the fight, if I'm going to be honest. He has one recent win over Tom Nolan. Now, Tom Nolan's a guy who's kind of a prospect, but I just think this guy's way too chinny to be considered actually good. You know what I mean? Like Martinez hurt him on the feet kind of bad. Nicholas Mata KO'd him. Going to a UD with Alex Reyes. I don't think he's that great. Trey Ogden was beating the dog shit out of Nicholas Mata. This is not a no contest. He submitted Nicholas Mata. Fucking absolute whatever. I'm not even gonna get on it. Manuel Torres just absolutely flattens him with an elbow. Beats Cameron Van Camp. Cameron Van Camp is a absolute schmuck bum. This guy's getting KO'd by Andre Fialho. You know what I mean? Give me a break, brother. And then gets KO'd by Jim Miller. I don't see Mahashate getting KO'd by Jim Miller. You know what I mean? Like Mahashate, beats Benitez, split decision. Not the greatest look in the world, but he didn't look bad. Lost to Borishev by KO TKO. Borishev, he's a good striker. He's a lot more technical than a guy like Nicholas Mata is. You know what I mean? And Huffa Garcia, pretty well rounded, good pressure, good cardio. I can understand that loss. As far as his wins go, Benitez, not so good. Steve Garcia, though, he's the last guy to put out Steve Garcia. You know what I mean? He's the only guy to TKO him, as a matter of fact. And he slept Steve Garcia bad. I just think this is Mahashate's here. I think it's his fight to win. I think he's a little bit better of a striker, much younger guy too. I think from fight to fight, he will be making larger improvements to his skill set as opposed to a guy like Nicholas Mata. I don't think there'll be any grappling here. And I don't think this fight ends super early. I think this might go into the second and third round. And if that happens, I think I favor Mahashate here over Nicholas Mata. Both guys are live for a finish, honestly. But I just see Mahashate more consistently winning this fight over Nicholas Mata. I think Mahashate here will get himself a TKO win over Nicholas Mata, who's not very durable as well. Moving up to bantamweight, Zhao Long versus Quang Li. There's a lot of fights on this card where I think there's a lot of dogs I like, and there's a lot of just really tricky fights to pick. This is one of them for me. As the line would indicate, this fight is very close. Zhao Long has an insane amount of experience. 26 wins, 8 losses. You see this a lot about kind of like more Asian fighters, especially like young Chinese fighters. These guys have fights, dude. It's not the highest level of competition for sure, but it is experience. Both of these guys have already made their UFC debuts. Zhao Long fought Chang Ho Lee, lost a split decision in a pretty close and entertaining fight, and Quang Li on short notice came up and took a fight against Chris Gutierrez. It actually took a round off of Gutierrez on short notice as like a plus 400 underdog. So it was a good look for Quang Li, honestly. This is a tricky fight because both of these guys are pretty decent, pretty well-rounded, I would say. At least compared to each other. I feel like these guys match up pretty well. Similar in size. Quang Li's the older guy for sure, but ironically, Zhao Long has a lot more experience. I think I'm gonna go with Quang Li here, though, guys. I liked what I saw from him against Chris Gutierrez. He didn't look completely lost on the feet against Gutierrez. He was able to take down Gutierrez and control him for an entire round. And Gutierrez is, I mean, he's borderline top 15 of the division. You know what I mean? Zhao Long, Chang Ho Li's okay. Like, I don't think Chang Ho Li's very good. And I don't like a split decision loss to him, to be honest. I think Quang Li would probably beat Chang Ho Li in a fight. So, and I know styles make fights, you know, but I kind of want to lean with Quang Li here. I also think he has a little bit of a power advantage on the feet. He does have nice boxing and pretty good takedowns as well. I think he has a better takedown than a Zhao Long, and I do think he slightly ekes out a little bit more punching power. But I think this is going to be a really competitive fight. It should be a pretty fun one, honestly. But I'm going to go with Quang Li here. I think he might get a decision win here over Zhao Long and get himself a UFC win. But I could see this going either way. I think both these guys are pretty decent, and they match up pretty well. Moving up to flyweight, Lonair Kavanaugh versus Jose Ochoa. This fight is also really fucking sick. Lonair Kavanaugh had an insanely sick knockout win on the Contender Series against a pretty highly touted guy as well. And Jose Ochoa, this guy is a little bit slept on. You don't see a lot about this guy. And I think this line, I'm going to say this right now, this line is not indicative of Ochoa's skill at all. This shit should be much closer. Plus 275. I like those odds. Lonair Kavanaugh is very good, though. Very nasty kickboxing, very high level. But Ochoa's not too bad either. Now, granted, I think the level of competition that he has fought has been lower than a Lonair Kavanaugh. So I am going to go with Lonair Kavanaugh. I think he's a little bit better on the feet. I think he's got a little bit more pop in his shots. But Ochoa, man, he's well-rounded. He's pretty big for the division. I can see him giving Kavanaugh some issues. Like, it would not surprise me if this fight looks much harder than the line would indicate. Granted, this year, right, there's been a lot of fights with a lot of favorites around this line, like minus 300 and up, that have looked like minus 120. I'm going to be honest. I think this could be one of those fights, but I do think Lonair Kavanaugh is the more technical striker, and I think he can outstrike Jose Ochoa. I think he can maybe get a TKO over this kid later in the fight. I think like rounds 2 or 3. I think round 1's actually going to be pretty tightly contested here. Like I don't think Kavanaugh's walking through him in this first round. Maybe first round and a half. But I can see that experience that Kavanaugh has against a slightly higher level of competition beginning to rear its head as the fight gets deeper. And I think he can maybe find a big shot on Jose and get himself a TKO win later on in this fight. But we'll see. I'm excited for this fight. I like this card, dude. Oh my fucking God. Holy shit. Guys, with these like Asian cards, man, my Western English brain has a very hard time pronouncing some of these fucking names. This guy, when I saw this guy's name, I about had a fucking stroke. I'm going to do my absolute best to pronounce this young man's name. Moving up to flyweight, we have Carlos Hernandez taking on Niam Jargel Tumen Dembrigel. How do you like that? Could you imagine being this guy's fucking substitute teacher? Holy guacamole, dude. Say that 10 times fast and I'll Venmo you $1,000 right now. But yeah, I'm going with Carlos Hernandez here. I just think Carlos Hernandez is a little bit better than his record would indicate. You know, you see the 9-4 versus the 8-0. And they do have him lined as the favorite, Carlos Hernandez, which he should be, in my opinion. But you see the record, and it might, like a person looking at this might be like, oh, 9-4, that's kind of a stinky record. But when you look into his losses, especially his 2 most recent ones, Ray Tsuruya is a very legit grappler, in my opinion. I think this guy's actually really quite good. He's I would say he's an elite grappler. I think he's good. He's got good takedowns. He's got great submission skills. He's got a good ground and pound. This guy's a solid fighter, I think. And then Tetsuro Taira. He lost to Tetsuro Taira. You know, I like another elite grappler. Taira got it done on the feet though, but Tetsuro Taira is in the absolute elite of the division. So I don't mind these two losses. Like I think Tsuruya would probably beat a Tumen Dembrell. Tumen Dembrell. Holy shit, I'm gonna stroke out. Um, he has a win over Dennis Bondar. Now, Dennis Bondar is another guy where I just feel like his UFC run is a bit perplexing because you see his record in the UFC and he's 0-3, right? Not great. This was an arm injury against Malcolm Gordon. This was a fluke. This was like not, he did not get TKO'd by Malcolm Gordon. His fucking arm, he tried to post and his arm exploded. Carlos Hernandez got him in a UD. He beat the shit out of him, which I think it's a good win. I think Dennis Bondar, despite being 0-3 in the UFC, I think this guy is actually very technical. This guy's well-rounded. He's got good speed. He's got good stand-up. Technically, I think this guy is very solid. And I would honestly favor Dennis Bondar in a fight against fucking Tumen Dembrell. Honestly. Like, Tumen Dembrell, decently well-rounded, okay striking, not super outrageously technical. He has a takedown to him, and he's got some submission skills. But I don't think he's fought or beat anybody on the level of a Carlos Hernandez, or at least know what, like, his skill set does not warrant him being a favorite in this matchup. That's why he's not. Like, he has good skills, he's solid, but I think Carlos Hernandez operates at a higher level of skill. And I also think Carlos Hernandez is very well rounded because Carlos Hernandez in this fight against Ray Tsuruya, he was scrambling with him well. And that's not easy to do, man. Like Tsuruya's, like I said, very good grappling. He was scrambling with him. He was keeping up with him. You know what I mean? I just think Carlos Hernandez is more well-rounded, and he's been more well-rounded against, in my opinion, a higher level of competition here. So I think Carlos Hernandez here, I think he's going to get himself a decision win, just being slightly more technical and relying on his experience against guys who I think are just generally better than Tumen Dembrell, right? And honestly, I hope this guy loses. I hope he never fights again, so I don't have to fucking try and pronounce his name. Oh my god. Moving up to women's strawweight, Shi Ming is taking on Feng Xiaokan. Guys, I'm going with Feng Xiaokan here over Shi Ming. Feng Xiaokan, decent stand-up, nothing insane, nothing crazy, pretty untechnical, I would say. I would say Shi Ming is the more technical striker if you were to put a gun to my head. But she's not very technical either. But where Feng Xiaokan separates herself is her ability to get a takedown. She's got a pretty good takedown. She can get it in space. She controls very well positionally. She's got good ground and pound as well. And she's got a pretty diverse set of finishes. I think she's got 4 TKOs, 1 submission? Yeah. So she does finish fights. And as far as Shi Ming goes, my big thing in this fight is she is kind of a pressure striker. My problem with this is she is going to have a hell of a time getting in range to land strikes. I mean, look at the frame difference here. This is a big thing for me, especially in women's MMA. 5'2" versus 5'7", that's 5 inches of height and 6.5 inches of reach. I think Shi Ming is going to be out-strengthed, out-framed here. And even if she might be the better striker, I don't think she's going to be able to get in range very well. And if she does get too close, she might accidentally feed her hips, and Zhao Kan can get that takedown. And once she does, I feel like Shi Ming's going to have a hard time getting up from there. Now, Shi Ming does have some submissions. She does have quite a few submissions. 6 subs. Maybe Zhao Kan shoots a bad takedown, and Shi Ming can latch up a submission. But I just don't see it. I think Zhao Kan's submission defense is all right. I don't think Shi Ming's going to latch one up. I don't think she's going to do much on the feet. I think she's going to have a hard time with the range. I think this is Feng Xiaokan's fight to win. I honestly think she can get a TKO here to ground and pound. I think she can get Ming down, and I think she can land some good ground and pound. and finish this fight. Ugh. Moving up to flyweight, Kiru Sahota versus Donghyun Choi. No line for this fight. I wonder what the line is for this fight. I don't really check these before I make these. It's weird that this one doesn't have a line. I'm a little undecided on this one. I feel like the line should be very close for this fight because this is very meh, you know, this fight specifically. Donghyun Choi is like okay all around. Like he's not great, dude, but Kiru Sahota is not anything crazy either. This is my problem. This is a tough one. Kiru Sahota is very long and very rangy. He stays on the end of his punches very well. He keeps people out at distance. Does Doohyun Choi really have a good ability to close distance against a guy like this? I'm not so sure. Does Doohyun Choi have a good takedown? Not really. Like he likes to shoot takedowns, but he doesn't really have a very good ability to get fights there. This is tricky. This is a tricky one. I've kind of racked my brain a little bit about this one. Anytime I think about it, I'm like, oh, I'll just fucking decide when I do the video because this is kind of a close fight. I think I'm gonna go with Kiru Sahota actually. Just like man, I can see Doohyun Choi just get fucking frame bullied, dude. I mean, like look at the fucking frame of this guy. This is flyweight, dude. This guy's 5'10" at fucking flyweight. Like this is a full-grown man height. You know what I mean? Fighting a vertically challenged young man. And he's got 7 inches of reach too. And he's pretty good at keeping people on the end of his punches. I'm going to go with Kiru Sahota here, actually, over Doohyun Choi, I think. Or I said Doohyun Choi. Wrong fighter. Doohyun Choi. Wrong guy. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kiru Sahota. I just think he's going to be able to keep Doohyun Choi on the end of his strikes and be very long and tricky to get a takedown on or land shots on. And I think he can cause some damage on the feet and get himself a couple of rounds and win himself a decision here over Doohyun Choi. Moving up to the bantamweight division, Bear Gang Gialisi versus Su Young Yu. These names, man, are going to kill me. That line's surprising. Wow, okay. So they have Su Young Yu as a minus 150 favorite. Su Young Yu, for those uninitiated, this guy wrestles. This guy wrestles a lot. This guy likes shooting takedowns. He will shoot 600 of them. Clearly, by his takedown average, you can see that. He has 6 takedown average. This guy shoots a lot of takedowns. And that's about it. Good takedown accuracy. He's somebody who shoots takedowns, but he can get them. Like he's got a decent wrestling game for sure. His striking is very sloppy. He leaves himself very open. He's there to be hit, generally speaking. As far as Bear Gang goes, he's got pretty good takedown defense, and he's a guy who can kind of do damage on the feet. He's a much tighter and cleaner striker than Su Young Yu is. I'm not even gonna say in my opinion. It's just objective. He's gonna be the bigger guy. I think I'm gonna go with. Am I? Gialisi. I think I'm gonna go with Gialisi here. I just like outside of getting the takedown, Su Young Yu, he has nothing. That's my problem. And if he starts to shoot a bunch of takedowns and he's not getting them anymore and he starts to slow down a little bit. Now, he does have cardio and he does have the ability to just keep shooting. My hang up is Gialisi. This guy's got 10 submissions, man. He's got 4 KOs and 10 submissions. If you start shooting labored takedowns at this guy can submit you. And I think on the feet, this is a guy who can get underhooks pretty well because he throws a lot of uppercuts at guys who shoot takedowns on him, which gives him a natural underhook as well. His takedown defense is pretty solid. He's got a takedown of his own. I don't know if he's going to shoot, but I think on the feet here, I think it's a wash. He's the much bigger guy, 5 inches of reach. It's up to Su Young-yu to cover that ground and cover that dead space to get in there on the better striker, the more powerful striker, in my opinion. Gialisi's got good knees too. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with Baragang Gialisi here. I know I'm butchering his name, guys, but I've seen this guy's name spelled 3 different ways doing tape for this guy and doing research on this guy. His name's spelled different ways and nobody says it the same fucking way either. So I'm freeballing, okay? I think Baragang, I think I could see him winning a decision here as an underdog, but I could also see him just landing a big shot on Su Young-yu. But I can also see Su Young-yu as this fight gets a little bit deeper, maybe shooting some labored takedowns and maybe giving that neck. I'm going to say Gialisi wins inside the distance. That's what I'm going to say. I think he can get a finish here in this fight. I just want to pull these guys up. These guys have interesting records here. Moving up to 205, Zhang Mingyang versus Ozzy Diaz. I'm not sure why we're making this fight. I'm not sure why we're making this fight. Do we just want Ozzy Diaz to fucking die? Ozzy Diaz, 9-2. This record does not inspire confidence. Bevon Lewis, 7-5. Awesome. Chuck Campbell, 6-4. And he got knocked out by Joe Pyfer in 2022 on the Contender Series. Like, he's not terrible. Don't get me wrong. Ozzy Diaz isn't, like, a god-awful. But Zhang Mingyang, or Mingyang Zhang, this guy's just been killing everybody. This guy's just been killing everybody. What is that? 5 in a row? 5 TKOs in a row? Do we have 6? Oh my fucking god. Oh my fucking god. My god, he's been killing everybody in the first round. His last loss was in 2019, 5 years ago, when he was, 21? Yeah, he was 21 5 years ago. And since then, these guys aren't very high-level guys. But when you get a young guy like this, and you have him fighting generally bums, this is what you want to see. You want to see all of them getting killed in the first round. I mean, every single guy here has been getting dispatched of in the first round. Then in the road to UFC, he beats Tuco Tokos. I don't think Tuco Tokos is very fucking good. He's whatever, But then he beats Brinson Ribeiro. Now, Brinson Ribeiro, although being a bit chinny, this guy is fucking dangerous. This guy is dangerous. He has a lot of finishes, a lot of them in the first round, like 15 finishes. This guy's dangerous, especially early. So going in there and blowing him up in the first round the way he did, I think is pretty impressive here, man. I think Mingyang Zhang, I think he's just the better, more powerful striker than Ozzy Diaz. Zhang Mingyang can be caught. He can be knocked out, but he's very young in his career. He's got real power. He's got some submissions, and I just think a better striker than Ozzy Diaz. I don't know what Ozzy Diaz really has for this guy, especially early. I got, maybe it's recency bias, or just I don't know. Like, Ozzy Diaz just doesn't blow me away. I don't think his wins are that impressive. He got knocked out by Joe Pyfer. It's not like that's a bad thing, but Joe Pyfer's, I don't know. I'm just going with Mingyang Zhang. I think he finishes Ozzy Diaz in like the first round, like he's done the last 10 people he's fought. I just think he's way too dangerous early. And I don't think Ozzy Diaz is really going to be able to hang with him, despite being the bigger guy and despite being all right. I don't think he beats Zhang Mingyang. I think Mingyang is, I think he's a fadeable fighter. I don't think Ozzy Diaz is the guy to fade him with, in my opinion. Moving up to light heavyweight, we have a banger here, children. Volkan Oezdemir versus Carlos Ulberg. This is a banger. This is tricky, honestly. I think I'm going to go with Carlos Ulberg here. I think the line is a little wide. I think Ulberg is good. I think he's a very good kickboxer. I think he's very technical, very athletic, huge frame for the division, good speed, good power, good footwork as well. And I think that is what you need, generally speaking, to get a win over Volkan Oezdemir. Volkan Oezdemir is a guy who's a very slow plotting guy. He picks his shots well. What Oezdemir has is he has the ability to just knock you the fuck out. Volkan Oezdemir has legit fight-ending one-punch power in his hands. And he is a veteran of this sport. This guy has been fighting the absolute best in this division for what feels like a eternity at this point. And he's still getting wins, too. You know what I mean? Like, when we look here, I mean, like, dude, look at all of these guys he's beaten and fought. You know, UFC debut against OSP, KOs Misha Serkinov in round 1, KOs Manoa, fights DC, fights Smith, Dominic Reyes. This was a robbery, if I remember correctly. Alir Latifi KOs him. Alexander Rakic gets a... I remember this being a robbery as well, but he won that one. Got KO'd badly by Prohaska, lost the decision to Ankalaev, Paul Craig, Krylov. Then he beats the new blood Bogdan Guskov, who's a pretty dangerous power striker himself. And then KO's Johnny Walker. Like, this guy's been fighting everybody. And Carlos Ulberg doesn't really have that strength of schedule. His last one is what? Alonzo Minifield, right? Yeah, and Alonzo Minifield lost himself that fight by being a big idiot dum-dum and just sprinting at him in the first 12 seconds in a fight that was honestly winnable for him, but he's an idiot. You know, takes Da Un Jung 3 rounds. I don't love that. Ihor Potieria KO'd him early. Nikolai Negamurianu. I'm trying not to say the word, guys. I'm trying not to say the word. But his name's hard to say. Tefan Nchukwi got him out of there in the first round. Fabio Charant takes him 3 rounds. Fabio Charant's terrible. This is fucking spooky, though. I know that was in 2021, but that is a spooky loss to have fighting Volkan Oezdemir. I think Ulberg wins this fight, guys, by just being the more technical striker, in and out movement, being faster, and being able to sting Oezdemir as the fight goes on. I think he can do that. I think he's got to be careful early. I think he's got to sting Oezdemir a couple times to kind of take a little bit of that willingness to throw away from him. Because if Volkan Oezdemir is not throwing shots, then he's a fucking punching bag. You get what I'm saying? So Ulberg needs to get in, sting him, get out, get in, sting him, get out. And hopefully that would dissuade Volkan Oezdemir from biting down and kind of coming forward and throwing big shots like he likes to do. And kind of eases up on the pressure on Carlos Ulberg and allows Ulberg to work in space a little bit more. And I think that's how Ulberg wins this fight. I think he is live, maybe for a TKO. I could see it. Oezdemir is tough as a old leather boot, though. But I think Ulberg's got the speed to shut the lights out on a guy like Oezdemir. Oezdemir is a guy who can eat a really big shot, but a really fast shot will sleep him, or a shot he doesn't see will just sleep him. Like Yuri Prohaska caught him with that 1-2, slept him into oblivion. Fast shot he didn't see. I think that's Ulberg's speed, man. I think his speed can lend to him getting a TKO here. I think in like round 2, I think round 1, it's going to be Ulberg doing like what I said, trying to get in and out, trying to sting Oezdemir, trying to keep him off that pressure that he does tend to have. And then once he is kind of easing up on that pressure, then that allows Ulberg to flow a little bit and pick his shot to finish Volkan Oezdemir. I think he can do it, but this is a tricky fight. And if Carlos Ulberg gasses or he's not able to get the respect of Oezdemir, he might be in fucking trouble, dude. Because Oezdemir can crack, and he's got decent striking, man. Moving up to women's flyweight, Wang Kong versus Gabriela Fernandez. Guys, I'm going with Wang Kong here. I think this fight's largely going to be a stand-up contest. And in that, I favor Wang Kong. She's got a very legit kickboxing acumen. She beat Valentina Shevchenko in kickboxing. Everybody knows this now, but they didn't know this in her first fight, where she got an absolutely brutal fucking KO finish. Yeah, she's got legit kickboxing, but also Wang Kong, she's got a takedown too. Like, she's got submission skills as well. Like, she has grappling too. Like, she's not a fish in the grappling. She's actually quite well-rounded. She's got a good frame for the division. So does Gabriela Fernandez. Um, as far as Gabriela Fernandez goes, I just haven't loved her UFC career, man. Carly Judice, like that's our win. You know what I mean? Like, uh, you know, Bleda, not a terrible loss. You know, Jasmine Jasudavicius, not a terrible loss. Okay, I haven't seen it from Gabriela Fernandez though. Not in the UFC. You know, you put Wang Kong against a layup fight, she blows this chick up and knocks her stone dead unconscious. And I think she's well rounded too. I just think she's a much better kickboxer. Gabriela Fernandez is kind of somebody who I think can frame bully a lot of people in this division. I don't think she can do that to Wang Kong. I don't think she's as good on the feet as Wang Kong. And I is there grappling better than Wang Kong? Honestly, probably not. I think the line should be closer though. Minus 1,000 is crazy. Um, I would give Wang Kong like a minus 350 in my opinion. Um, but I think she should win this fight. I think she's just a better fighter overall, um, with real legitimate finishing potential. I'm gonna go with Wang Kong here. I think she could probably get another TKO finish over Gabriela Fernandez. You know? Oh God. Moving up to welterweight, guys. This fight is this fight is ugly. Song Kanan is taking on Muslim Salikov. Man, when I tell you this is what I'm talking about when I say this is the most volatile sport. This fucking fight, and honestly, this card in general, there's a lot of fights I could see going either which way. This fight, dude, I don't fucking know. I could flip a coin. Cause Song Kanan, good, decent boxing, really good power in his hands, and he could take a good shot. Muslim Salikov, he's 40. He's got very good kicks, very good taekwondo, very good spin kicks, good power in his kicks. Hands, not so good. Cardio, not so good. Speed early, he has that. And sometimes he'll go for an odd takedown. And some Kanan's takedown defense, it's okay. It's not the best. But Muslim Salikov's takedown is like, it's not that good. So I feel like they cancel each other out in the grappling, personally, I think. And it's like, do I think the slow, consistent power punching of Song Kanan will wear down Muslim Salikov over time, and it will lead to him getting like maybe a TKO or winning the last 2 rounds? Or do I think Salikov, with his suspect durability, can use his speed and his very dynamic set of kicks to keep the distance on Kanan, who's just kind of a guy. Kanan doesn't have lateral movement. Like he walks into range. That's what he does. And Salikov is really good at landing big spinning attacks or big kicks on those guys that just kind of slowly walk into range. This is a nightmare to pick. But I will say this. I absolutely hate Muslim Salikov being a 2-1 favorite in this fight. I don't give betting advice. I say this in like a lot of my videos. This isn't betting advice. You're smoking fucking crack if you take Muslim Salikov at minus 180. He might win, and I think I might pick him to win. But 2-1, he's 40. Like, I'm not. Fuck no. Oh my god, this is so hard. I hate this fight because I know I'm gonna pick wrong. I know I'm picking this one wrong. Song Kanan beat Ricky Glenn in an absolute disgusting slop fest fight. He lost to Jusei. He rocked Jusei. He beat Bedoya. Bedoya is a weird one, man. I'm gonna debate. This is gonna be the most debated fight on this card in my head. Beats Fialho, takes Takes Fialho to the third round, though. You know what, guys? Fuck it. I'm going with Song Kanan. I'm going with Song Kanan. Plus 150? Give me it. Fuck it. He's 34. He's the much younger guy. Not like he's like some super young guy. I think he's much more physical than Salikov. I think he's stronger physically. He's got good punching power. Salikov slows down. Like if he's taking Fialho, Andre Fialho, into the third round, it wouldn't make any fucking sense if he KO'd Kanan in the first. And now that I say that, he's going to. Like, he's going to KO him in the first now that I've said that. But, I mean, Song Kanan, he should be able to last longer than fucking Andre Fialho. But the difference is, I think Song Kanan's got a lot more physicality than Andre Fialho. I think Salikov's going to gas if it gets into the second and third. And Song Kanan, although he's not, like, outrageously fast, we're moving into range, and he does not stop doing that. And he throws with power, and Salikov's chin, man, I don't trust that shit at 40. And he got slept bad against Randy Brown. Maybe Salikov gets those kicks out early and does some damage to Kanan, but I don't know. I'm going to trust in Song Kanan. Fuck it, we ball, dude. There's an underdog pick for you. Enjoy. Moving up to our co-main event at women's strawweight, Yan Xiaonan versus Tabitha the Robbery Merchant Ritchie. Fucking hate Tabitha Ritchie. I'm just going to be honest. I don't like her. Because I feel like she's getting away with some wins that she shouldn't, dude. Especially this one makes me ill. I'm going to point this out every single time she fights. Where the fuck is this train wreck? She did not win this shit. At all. At all. 1 for 10 on takedowns. 54 significant strikes to fucking 80. Winner of a cage fight. What are we smoking? You could argue Angela Hill. I think you can argue she beat Angela Hill. That's fine. That was a razor close fight too. She lost to Tisha fucking Pennington. That fight drives me insane. But she's pretty well rounded. Kind of. She's a lot more of a grappler. She doesn't do much with her grappling. She kind of gets you. She gets the takedown and then kind of throws like, I mean, women's straw weight ground and pound. Ugh. Like she has some okay submission skills. I would say they're better than Yan Xiaonan's for sure. On the feet, Yan Xiaonan is fucking light years better than Tabitha Ritchie. In the boxing, it's just I gotta get in the mind of the judges here because I'm not thinking about who's the better fighter. I'm thinking about you know Yan Xiaonan might catch Ritchie with a giant shot, but if she gets a takedown, for some reason these judges just develop brain rot and they're like, ooh, that takedown must have done a lot of damage. Let's give Tabitha Ritchie this round because she's dating Callum Walsh and we want her to be a top contender. Like you know what? I'm sick of being burned by Tabitha Ritchie. I'm picking her to win. So if she loses, I'm fucking happy. And if she wins, I got the pick right. But I do think she's objectively a much worse striker than Yan Xiaonan. However, Yan Xiaonan can be taken down. And Tabitha Ritchie likes to take people down and do nothing. But she wins rounds by doing that. So, hey, I'll go with Tabitha Ritchie. I think she'll win a split decision. That she probably shouldn't get. I think that's what she'll do. I think she'll win a split decision. Working her grappling, because Yan Xiaonan you can take her down. I'm not just picking her because I want her to lose and I want to put a jinx and a hex on her. I do, but she can win this fight. And I know deep down in the bottom pits of my soul, if I picked Yan Xiaonan and Yan Xiaonan lost a split decision to Tabitha Ritchie, I might peel my eyes out of my fucking head. So I'm going to go with Tabitha Ritchie. But yeah, she can get taken down. Zhang Wei Li took her down a bunch. Marina Rodriguez, kind of a robbery. Carla Esparza fucking destroyed her. Majority decision against Mackenzie Dern. I think Mackenzie Dern's kind of like a Tabitha Ritchie, although I do think Ritchie's a bit of a better natural wrestler, but with worse submission skills. But yeah, I'm going to go with Tabitha Ritchie by split decision. Oh my God. Fellas, chat, we're here. Our pilgrimage is at an end. This is mixed martial arts. This is a main event, baby. Moving up to the bantamweight division, Peter Yan versus Davison Figueiredo. This fight is sick. All right. I feel like I've been talking for like 50 minutes in this video. This fight is awesome. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think every MMA fan who knows fucking ball is looking forward to this fight. Peter Yan's one of my. I'm gonna lay the bias out right now. Peter Yan is one of my favorite fighters to watch fight. He's so good at everything. Like, this guy is elite. I love him. And Davison Figueiredo has been going on a fucking resurgence run. He's been looking fucking great. But will I pick him to beat Peter Yan? No. No, I won't. This is where, in my opinion, this is where Davison Figueiredo's bantamweight Linsanity run, it's done. It's done here. 5 rounds against Peter Yan. You're giving Peter Yan a nice size advantage? No. The Peter Yan, the bag, it's too deep. It goes too deep. He's too good. Figueiredo, good power, well-rounded, good jiu-jitsu. He's got a nice takedown. His striking is he leaves himself open. And I just don't see him getting a finish over Peter Yan early. And if you give Peter Yan rounds 3, 4, and 5 to kind of download and process information, this man is going to begin to enter the matrix and beat the holy shit out of you, unless you're Marab and you shoot 66 fucking takedowns per round. But Davison Figueiredo, in his most recent fights, he's been working his grappling a lot more lately, and it's been working for him. He was able to take down Rob Font. He was able to take down Cody Garbrandt. He was able to take down Chito Vera. But Chito Vera, one thing you'll notice in that fight is Figueiredo's takedowns, they lost efficacy as the fight got a little deeper. As, it got into the second and third round, Chito was able to stuff those shots a little bit more. And man, Peter Yan's takedown defense, this guy defended like 40 of those fucking things against Marab. He was defending well against Aljo too. And Peter Yan's got takedowns of his own. Like, this guy's got elite trips and sweeps to get guys to the mat. And he's got some nasty ground and pound too, Peter Yan does. So maybe Figueiredo can get a takedown. I don't know if I trust his takedown against Peter Yan's defense though, man. I really don't. And on the feet, I mean, early, maybe Figgy can catch him with a big shot and hurt him. But Figueiredo, like, he's not the fastest guy in the world, especially at 36 in a division like this. I just don't see it, man. But I will say this. I will give Davison Figueiredo this. If he wins this fight, he gets the title shot over Umar Nurmagomedov. There is no debate in my fucking mind. Umar Nurmagomedov does not deserve a title shot if Figueiredo wins this fight. No fucking way. Because hypothetically here, Figgy beats Rob Font, top 10 contender, Cody Garbrandt, former champion, not the world's greatest win, beats Marlon Vera, first guy to knock him down. He beats Marlon Vera after Marlon Vera just got done fighting for the title of this division, and then he beats former champion Peter Yan. That's better than just Corey Sandhagen, little bro. If Davison Figueiredo wins this fight, give him a title shot. But I don't think he's going to. I think Peter Yan, as this fight goes on, man, he's gonna start to batter Davison Figueiredo on the feet. I don't know if Figueiredo's cardio is gonna hold up, and even if it holds up, I don't think it's holding up to Peter Yan. Peter Yan, with a size advantage too, man, he's gonna be doing some damage in these later rounds. I think. I don't think Figueiredo is gonna be able to take him down. If he does, I don't think he's gonna be able to submit him. I mean, we've seen Peter Yan with Aljo on his back for a couple of rounds. You know what I mean? I just think Yan's too well-rounded, man. I think Yan could still be the champ, man. And I think he's going on a run. I think we're getting the belt back, guys. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Peter Yan here. I think he's gonna win a decision here. I think Figueiredo is gonna hang tough this fight. I think he's gonna show a lot of will to win. But I think as this fight kind of gets deeper, I think Peter Yan's just gonna start to fucking he's gonna put up a Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game. You know what I'm saying? Um, I hope I'm not wrong now that I've said that. But yeah, I think Peter Yan's gonna win a decision, guys. Probably 49-46. We'll see though. But yeah, that's it for this UFC Fight Night, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it so much. If you're new, subscribe, and as always, I will catch you guys next time. See ya.